Hi guys, Elizabeth here with Team Epic Reads. Today's DIY project is inspired by Reign of Shadows, the new fantasy duology by Sophie Jordan. Reign of Shadows has everything we know and love from Sophie Jordan, including that awesome swoony romance and also a really interesting world. Let's get started. So one fun fact about the cover of Reign of Shadows, that the designer actually purchased real flowers and plants and built this cover and then photographed it. Plus, we have a story about a long-lost princess who doesn't get to wear a crown. So today, we're going to be making a flower crown inspired by the princess in the story and this awesome cover. For today's project, you're going to need a couple of different materials. You're going to need a glue gun, my favorite tool. You're going to need a bunch of pipe cleaners, and you're going to need any kind of fake flowers and fake plants that you like. I went with colors that match the cover. For the first step today, you're simply going to take 3 of your pipe cleaners and braid them together. So I'm just going to twist at the end so that they stick together, and then I'm just going to braid them. And I'm using 3 different colors so that you can see the braid, but you can use whatever colors you want. So you want this braid to be a little bit loose, so you don't have to worry about pulling it tight. And when you get to the bottom of your braid, you can just leave it open. You don't have to close it off yet. And then you're gonna go ahead and do that 2 more times. So you're gonna be using 9 pipe cleaners in total, making 3 braids. So once you have your 3 braids, so you've used 9 pipe cleaners in total, you're actually gonna take these 3 braids and braid them together. So I'm gonna go to those ends that I left open, and I'm gonna twist those all together so that it stays as one full piece. Just do a couple of twists around, and then I'm gonna loosely braid my 3 braids together. And you want these to be pretty loose because you're gonna be wanting to put the flowers inside of the folds so that they stick inside. So once you've created your braid of 9 pipe cleaners, you're actually gonna do the exact same thing again. So you need 18 pipe cleaners in total. Now I'm going to attach these 2 together so that I can measure around my head to form the base of the crown. So I'm just gonna twist the ends of these together. It's the best thing about pipe cleaners, they're so easy to work with. And then I'm going to just hold this up to my head and start to bend it so that I can measure. I want mine to kind of sit on the top of my head. So right there. Okay, looks like I have just enough. You might wanna fix your hair after you do that. So I'm just gonna twist the ends together. Again. Perfect. Now I have the base of my crown. Now that you have the base of your flower crown ready to go, one thing that I find to be a little bit helpful is going through and pulling apart this braid just a little bit so that you can fit the stems of the flowers inside. You don't want to go ahead and glue things on right away. You want to sort of place them first. So by doing this, you can stick the flowers in and have them stay. So I'm just loosening up these pipe cleaners a little bit. And now is the fun part. You get to start mapping out where you want your flowers to go. You can use as many or as few as you want. You can do it in a pattern. You can make it look really floral. You can go more of greens. I'm gonna use colors that match the cover. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. And the reason why we're not gluing these in is so that if you wanna rearrange, you can. So I'm just simply sticking the stem of the flower into my pipe cleaners. And then you can tighten it up by just squeezing it if you want it to stick inside there. So now that I've placed a couple of my flowers in here and I've stuck them into the pipe cleaners, I have a pretty good sense of the spacing that I want. I think I'm gonna use a lot of these pretty green ones and then intersperse with a couple of the bright pink and purple ones. So now I'm gonna whip out my glue gun and start gluing these in. So I'm gonna take these out to kind of know what I'm starting with. And I'm simply going to dab the hot glue around the base of the flower. And then I'm going to stick it back into my crown. And then I'm just gonna hold that for a second to give it a second to dry. Great, now you just continue to do this until you have completed your entire crown. Have fun with it. Okay, so we have most of our flowers all glued in place and it's starting to look so beautiful. Couple of things I just want to mention is that make sure you're being careful with that hot glue, and also sometimes you get those kind of little stringies of glue, so you can just go through and peel any strings of glue off if you see any. Also, one of the best things about working with pipe cleaners is that you can bend this now to kind of put it into whatever shape you want. So if some of your flowers are kind of going in a wonky direction, you can sort of bend them around to make it look how you want to. So I'm just gonna go through and fluff up my flowers, make sure that everything is in place, and then I'm gonna add a couple of accents with some leaves. So for these, I'm just gonna kind of look for some holes and kind of get a feel for where I want them to go. Okay, that's a good spot. And this is kind of all you just eyeballing it. Once you find a good place, you can kind of stick it in the pipe cleaner, see how you like it, and then go ahead and glue it in. I want my crown to be very, very full and have lots of different colors of green, so I want to use a lot of leaves to fill in between the flowers. So now I've gone in and I have filled in between the flowers with some green leaves. So now I have this very beautiful, lush looking crown. And there's just one more final accent that I want to put on here. If you have any twigs or berries or any other kind of accents, you can feel free to stick them in amongst your leaves and flowers. I found these really cool sparkly purple branches, and so you know how I feel about sparkles, have to get them in here somewhere, so I'm going to stick a couple of these inside the crown as well. Okay, moment of truth, time to put on my flower crown. Yay! Beautiful flower crown. As always, if you have any ideas for Epic Reads DIY, you can leave them in the comments below.